Morning or good afternoon or good evening, whatever time you may be watching this. This is the next lecture in my series. This is the art of public speaking, cultivation, art of public speaking, and we are starting now on chapter 3, which is the chapter on listening. The very first thing that the book talks about is the fact that listening is important, and listening is extremely important. Listening can affect whether you keep a job, have a job, keep a job. Listening can affect relationships. Listening can hurt a relationship. Listening, good listening can actually help a relationship. So listening is extremely, extremely important. There's also, obviously this is going out to students, there's also been a number of studies that indicate that better listening skills are a predictor or an indicator or will help with academic success. It talks about different kinds of listening that there are, listening and critical thinking. First of all, it talks about appreciative listening. Appreciative listening is what we do when we're listening to a concert, possibly watching television, possibly even hearing someone talk that is entertaining. I don't expect that this is necessarily your version of appreciative listening, having to listen to a lecture. But this is, we'll get to this in just a minute. There's empathic listening. Now, we do empathic listening to show other people that we care about them. And when we do that, what we do is we listen to them, we hear their emotions, maybe we empathize with them or things along that line. So that's an important thing as well in our personal life. Comprehensive listening, hopefully that's what we're doing here in class. Of course, this is, you see my background, the empty classrooms. Thought that might be appropriate for these online lecture days. But comprehensive listening, we're just listening to understand the message. Now, critical listening is very important. You might think, well, the most common place someone might do critical listening would be on a jury. And of course, if you're on a jury, you definitely need to do critical listening. However, you ought to do critical listening in church. You ought to do critical listening in when you are in class, because the reality is there are teachers who have certain agendas, and those agendas do include sometimes impacting your values. And that's something that's important to understand, because if you're not doing critical listening, then the less we're aware when people are trying to, or entertainment, whatever it may be, is trying to impact our values, the more susceptible we are to having our values impacted. An important thing to remember is, and we get this in listening when we're watching television, listening to music. Music is a powerful thing, and music has a lot of messages. And it's very important that we understand music has a lot of messages. Some of those messages are not good, so we need to understand that as well. So critical listening is an important thing to do. And in class, in church, wherever you may be, we need to do critical listening. 4 causes for poor listening. One is just not concentrating. We just get distracted. We have other things going on in our mind, and we're just not there all of a sudden. Another thing we do is we listen too hard. We can try to maybe take too many notes, write too many things down, more things than we need to write down. Write down key points. That's an important thing to do. Another thing that we can do is we can jump to conclusions. This is an easy thing to do. It's very easy to jump to conclusions. We think, oh, I've heard this type of message before. Then all of a sudden we're not listening. Try to resist distractions. Things do happen that can distract us in a classroom or wherever it may be. Try not to be diverted by appearance or delivery. And that's something where when you are doing a speech, you don't want to be distracting in what it is you're wearing and things along that line. Try to suspend judgment. You might say, well, I disagree with this person. That's fine. But if we never listen to someone who is telling us something that opposes our opinion, and we're wrong, how will we ever know that we're wrong? So we do need to be willing to listen to opinions that we disagree with. So don't judge, don't jump to conclusions. Try to focus your listening on certain things. Try to listen for main points. Try to listen to the main points. And then, of course, in critical listening, we also listen for the evidence. Very important thing to do. And the last section on the chapter on critical listening is to also listen for technique. Pay attention to how the message is coming across, how it's being done. The final thing that the book says to do, and this is very, very important, very, very important, develop good note-taking skills. And remember that note-taking skills are very important in class, in church, wherever it may be. Note-taking skills are very important. So develop good note-taking skills, and that type of thing will help you. It will help you for a long time to come. Whether it could be on the job, it might be as you're being trained on the job, it might be in class, it might be a lot of different places. But that's the final section in chapter 3 on